Struth almighty, have we got a bit to play with today. Just pulled up all the floor and now we're looking at what we've got to deal with. The joists that I'm standing on just now, they're actually touching the ground, and the ends of them, some of them are completely rotted away. Up the other end there, we've got moisture running all the way up these bricks. There's moisture running all along this boundary wall. Next door extended along and through. So maybe the flashings between next door and this house haven't been stitched up properly. I don't know, I'll have to jump up on the roof to have a look. Have a look here at these joist system, the subfloor, and you have a look for yourself and tell me what do you reckon. So here's the end of our joist, and you can see all the soil sitting up against this joist here. That's completely saturated, all of that, completely wet. And all of you can see this here is rotted away underneath. So that's rotted away underneath. All of this. So this is what I talk about quite often in regards to, this is all moisture. Look at all this moisture running up this brickwork. That's all discoloration and that, all of that. And then you've got mold here on top of it, moistness on top of all of you. And then this is all, again, this is all just completely, this here, see, this is the piece of timber that this is sitting on is rotted away. So then as that rots, the hallway starts to sink and fall down. Now I'm kneeling on that and I can move that, which means it's all completely rotted underneath. It's just because I'm such a fat gut, I can't actually move it out. But this is what I talk about all the time. Separate your moisture from your timber. As soon as you have moisture getting into timber, it rots. It can cause havoc throughout everything. I mean, this soil, look at the soil here. The soil here is sitting right up against that joist the whole way through. There is nowhere for this subfloor to breathe whatsoever. The joist down there, that's completely rotted. Joist down there is completely rotted. Look at that. I'm going to stick my finger straight through that. It's all gone completely. Now that's old OB. Now that's pretty tough timber, that. Then if I step up here, Struth, look at this. All this moisture running up this. This is all completely, look at all of that. All this brickwork, that's all, look at that. This is, now this isn't old. I can see from that this is all probably within the last 20 years, this OB here. So it hasn't been that long since this has been played with, but it's still, even in 20 years, look at this up here, even in 20 years, look at this. This isn't an old piece. These nails are all the nails that were in the top of this, all the nails that were in the top of this were bullet heads. That tells me it's not really old. That is completely rotted through. Look at that. I mean, that's just coming off that so easily. And then if you look, we've got a pipe running under this floor. No idea, the pipe's not even clipped up or anything. Everything on the right-hand side of this pipe is completely covered in moisture, and everything on the left-hand side under that floor looks fairly dry consistently. So we've opened up a bit of a can of worms. Not sure where we're gonna be able to stop on this one, but we'll figure it out. Oh, look at this over here. This is actually a load bearing point under here. See, look at this load bearing point here. That's rotted underneath that. This has got moisture running up it, unless the brick pier goes all the way up. But look at all this coming off. So, I don't know, we've opened up a can of worms here. We're not gonna know where to stop just yet. We really need to keep opening up and just see how far this damage extends all the way through and what we can do to minimize the effect of any damage in the future. So stay tuned and we'll just see how we go. thought I could smell moisture. Look, we've pulled off the plaster where this plaster wall was bubbling a second ago. Now you can see here the moisture running up the wall all the way up, and then it stops around about here all the way across. Now from here up I can see that this has been breathing. We've got some timber through there and there's actually a cavity behind the timber, whereas here the plasterboard's been stuck directly to the wall. The brick hasn't been able to breathe whatsoever, or the masonry itself hasn't been able to breathe whatsoever. So because the masonry couldn't breathe and the moisture is running up this brick wall, all of that plasterboard here, have a look at this. All this plasterboard had mould growing on the back of it. Look at this mould on the back of it. I've never seen mould like that. It's even got its own root systems. That's how bad that mould is all the way through. And this is super brittle. Look, that's just breaking off in my hands, no worries. And it just fell off the wall. We'll rip off the plaster through this section here as well, and we'll have a good look at that and see if it's going down that way. We'll also rip up all of this floor through here. So we'll keep going. Just to mention how good I am, fig jam. I just said it was 20-year-old build. Check this out. I've pulled the plaster off the wall. There you go. 97. No, 97. That means 19 years old. I was 1 year off. Told ya. Now, we've got the moisture running through this wall here. Now, we know that it stops about there because the wall starts to breathe. Here, what they've done on this side is they've put black builder's plastic in, and then they've battened the whole system out. That's pretty smart thinking. The only problem is, you can see on this board, there's still moisture running up the board itself. See that? We've still got moisture all the way through all of this board because the moisture's still running up this brickwork. There's something going on with this wall. We need to check that out. So I'll jump up on the roof and I'll have a look and see what their flashings are like all the way across there. And we'll also keep pulling up this floor all the way through here, all the way up to the edge of the kitchen, because this floor is going up and down. And going by this, we've got moisture running the whole way up that whole brick wall, all the way along the edge there. So we'll get going.